Hello, good day. My name is Ibrahim Osage from the Center of Agriculture and Rural Development Studies, CATS, Federal University of Latvia. I'll be discussing on wood processing and utilization. The topics we have here, we have wood harvesting. That's the definition. Then we'll be talking about the elements related to wood harvesting and operating. Then we'll be talking on cable yarding, advantages and disadvantages of cable yarding, and also methods, forms of log transportation from the forest to the sawmill. Then we have why is it necessary to first carry out notching before felling a tree? And again, we have precaution to be taken by tree feller before falling a tree in the forest. The major problems facing timber industry in Nigeria, and also primary conversion of logs in sawmill, factors that governs the choice of logs and sawing operation, then the difference between wood waste and wood residue, and also causes of wood waste in a sawmill. Then we have the definition of wood harvesting. Wood harvesting refers to the process of cutting, collecting, and transporting trees from forests for various uses such as construction, fuel, furniture, paper, and other wood-based products. It is a critical component of forest management and the timber industry, providing raw material essentials for many economies. Harvesting can be conducted using a manual tool, mechanized equipment, or combination of both, depending on the scale of the operation and the forest type. Sustainable harvesting practices are crucial to avoid overexploitation, maintain forest regulation, and ensure ecological balance. And also, we still have another definition, which is wood harvesting poses a significant threat to forest ecosystem. It can lead to deforestation, soil erosion, loss of biodiversity, and disruption of water cycle. In many developing countries, illegal logging and poor enforcement of forest regulation contributes to widespread forest degradation. As a result, there is a growing emphasis on adopting practices like selective logging, reduced impact logging, reforestation efforts to mitigate negative. Then we have the elements related to wood harvesting. The elements are in for five in number. The first one we have harvest planning. Then we have a forest roots, tree felling operation. We also have skidding and yarding operation. Then we have post-harvest assessment. On harvest planning, the comprehensive planning of harvesting operation is essential in order to set a stage for sustainable harvesting practice and also to reconcile greater technical control during harvesting with the need to reduce cost. As in temperate forests, harvesting planning is in tropical forests should include the following. First, we have collecting of detailed time investors, collection of topographical data, this plus others, information essential for laying out transportation system. The transportation plan should ensure that the logging area have efficient access to the trees to be harvested. The plan should take care of problem and minimizing disturbance on residue tree and soil. It should take care of landing skid trails and cableways. It should also specify equipment to be used and also timing of operation should be done. Forest roads. Forest roads are unquestionable the most problematic feature of timber harvesting operation, except in where large waterways can be used. Roads are essential for industrial timber extraction and providing access to management and control purpose. Building roads involve removing vegetations and rearranging the soil to permit an easier passage for vehicles, such actions are most always accompanied by increased rate of erosion. To minimize erosion, its destructive effects, road locations must be planned in advance and according to the proper layout of construction procedures. Competent technical supervision of road layout construction is needed to reduce the area cleared for haul road. Then we have a tree felling operation. This is the act of severing a tree from the stump and bringing it down, topping and the branching, that's the limping, cutting off the unusable tree's crown and branch of the field tree. If selective tree felling is to be done, the effect tree must have been marked, probably based on purpose of felling age, size, species, etc. But in case of clear felling, this will affect all the trees in the effective area regardless of above condition. The size number of trees, terrain topography will determine the type of machine to be used in felling. It may be done normally with cutlass, axes, and machetes, mechanically by the use of chainsaw bulldozer. The use of appropriate felling techniques limits damage to advanced generation and improve the skidding operation. To ensure that's the post-harvest assessment. To ensure sustenance, this is a sort of regular feedback regarding the success of the failure of a harvesting operation with respect to long-term sustainability of the forest. This should include operation costs and venue, and also evaluation of the degree of which both silvicultural and non-timber objectives are met, the extent of damage to residual tree, the area disturbed by road and trails, the quality and quantity of regeneration, and also finally, the result of post-harvesting must be communicated based on the harvesting crew and the appropriate incentives or penalty be melted on them as. Alright, so this is a diagram of a cable yard then. Well, from the top we have the guidelines, which is the machine. Then we have the main line. Then we have the that's butt rigging chokes. Then we have tail locks, traps, corner locks, and straps. Then advantage and disadvantage of cable yarding. While cable yarding plays an indispensable role in wood hauling, the first point here is to reduce soil disturbance. Cable yarding system, especially those using skyline or tower yarders, minimize ground contact by lifting logs off the forest floor during extraction. This greatly reduces soil compaction and erosion, making it ideal for steep and sensitive terrain, efficient on the steep slope. Cable yarding is particularly effective in mountainous or in inaccessible areas where ground-based equipment like skidders or tractors cannot operate safely. It enables log extraction without the need for constructing extensive roads or trails. The disadvantage here is high initial cost. Cable yarding equipment is expensive to purchase, install, and maintain. The setup process is the labor intensive and requires skilled operators, which can significantly increase operational cost compared to ground-based system. Then we have a limited flexibility. The system has restricted movements and reach, which may limit its effectiveness in flat or least-based logging sites. Additionally, repositioning the yarding system for new extraction area can be time-consuming. Then we have methods, forms of log transportation from the forest to the sawmill. Then we have on the first point here we have a truck transportation, we have a skidding, we have cable yarding, we have a helicopter logging, we have rail transportation, and then we have water transport. Then why is notching necessary before felling a tree? Notching is a critical first step in tree felling process because it helps control the direction in which the tree will fall. The notch, also calls the face cut, is typical a wedge-shaped cut made on the side of the tree facing the desired fall direction by removing the position of the trunk in a specific shape and angle, usually around 70 degrees. The notch acts as a hinge guiding the tree's safety and predictably to the ground. Without this control, the tree could fall unpredictable, posing a serious risk to the feller, nearby workers, equipment, and surrounding trees. Notching reduces the risk of splitting or barber shearing, which occurs when the tree trunk splits vertically during the back cut, potentially injuring the feller. It also allowed the tree to fall more calmly and reduce fiber damage at the stump and also the lock. Proper notching is essential for safety efficiency, maximizing the effects, that's maximizing the usage volume and volume of the timber harvest. So this is a diagram showing how notching is done. As you can see, there's 45 degrees being notched. That's through the hinge, and which will clearly give it a perfect clean position for falling. Then we have the precautions to be taken by tree feller before felling a tree in the forest. Conduct a site inspection. Plan the escape route. Use proper personal protective equipment. That's the PPE. And then you check equipment. Determine the falling direction. Warm others and clear the area. Make proper notch and back cut. Stay alert and focused. Then we have the major problems. facing the timber industry in Nigeria. First point here we have deforestation and overexploitation. And then we have weak regulation enforcement. We have inadequate infrastructure. We also have low investment and technological background, backwardness, while insecurity in forest areas, lack of skilled manpower, climate change and environmental concerns, and then we have export restrictions and then this leads us to primary conversion of log in the sawmill. Primary conversion process typically includes several key operations, which are debarking, removing the barks, cross-cutting, and sewing, which is breaking down the logs using machines such as head rigs, circular saws, or pan saws. Method of sewing includes we have plain sewing, that's the flat sewing, we have the cutter sewing, and we have the radial sewing, each with a different pattern and timber quality outcome. Efficient primary conversion is essential for maximizing yield, minimizing waste, and ensuring high quality timber products. Which is primary conversion, which also refers to the initial stage of processing of raw logs into usable timber or lumber in the sawmill. Then we have factors governing the choice of logs for sawing operation. Log size, diameter, we have species of the wood, we have log straightness, then we have presence of defects. Moisture content, also part of it, market demands and end use, ease and handling transportation, and log. Then we have differences between wood waste, and wood residue. Wood waste refers to usable wood materials generated during logging process or utilization of wood. It includes pieces that cannot be economically recovered or reused, such as sawdust, bark, broken wood, and of course that are discarded or burnt. Wood residue. Wood residue is a byproduct of wood processing that retain some economic or industrial value and can be recycled or reused. Example include sawdust, shaving slabs, trimming, and cheap use of producing particle board pulp or fuel. There we have key differences. Waste often implies a material with little or no value, usually discarded, while residue is considered a useful byproduct that can be. Then we have causes of wood waste in sawmill. The first point here we have inefficient sewing technique, obsolete or worn out equipment, lack of skilled operators, inadequate log sorting, improper drying and storage. Then we have log